Hey everybody, I'm Angelia. Welcome back to Read and Reread. Today I'm going to do an unhaul. This is kind of an experiment because I debated about whether I felt like doing an unhaul because I usually just, now and then there's just books that I decide to not keep for whatever reason. I already got rid of a whole box of books right when we moved because when we unpacked I found some things that I felt like we could probably, let these ones go. But I find that I do watch unhauls from time to time, just curiosity about what someone decided not to keep and why. So I thought, well, I have a stack of books that have sort of been piling up like that I've decided to let go. And so I'm just going to explain why, and we'll see if this is a video. Let me know if you're interested in these kind, because I do this, every few months or so. I try to rotate and keep my collection dynamic and make sure that what's on my shelves all has a reason that I want it to be here, because really this is a space issue for us. I don't go overboard in my purchasing. I mean, it depends on who you ask. I don't think I go overboard in my purchasing, but Stephen might say something else. But things come out in and things must go out because we don't want it to overrun our space too much. Okay, so anyway, it's a space thing. And so let me just show you what I have on hand. And I've sort of been setting these aside for a while, and sometimes I take one out for a while and double think it, or there's some other ones on the shelf that I have my eye on, but I'm not ready to take them out yet. All right, so first of all, the first two have a real specific reason that I am going to give them away, and it's because I have acquired a nicer hardback copy for my collection. So I have these two books, The Age of Innocence by Edith Wharton and The Beautiful and the Damned by F. Scott Fitzgerald. And the Fitzgerald, I got all the Fitzgeralds kind of at once during, I'm going to say it was like during the college years. There was like the heaviest part of my Fitzgerald phase, and so I did read this little copy a few times, but I was able to snag this one at a library book sale. That's a nice vintage edition with this cool dust jacket, this Scribner edition. So I'm going to keep this. It's got like a nice little library smell to it. So I'm going to probably put this one in the little free library that's down the street. And also, I do like the way that this Age of Innocence copy looks with the photo and everything, but it's super yellow and it's got all this writing in it from, I guess, when it was in a class 100 years ago. And the one that I'm replacing it with is super nondescript, but I got it at a used bookstore for $1.99. It's just a sturdier, less yellowy copy, and I want to read this again soon, and the other copy's in danger of like crinkling and disintegrating, so I'm going to give those away and keep these new ones. Then I've got a book that I just didn't really love. It was Mrs. March by Virginia Feito. And the category here would be mystery and thrillers, psychological thriller. And it was a fun book to read, but I was unsatisfied when I got to the end because, let's see, I don't want to do a spoiler on this, but things that were supposed to be surprising were not surprising. And then other things that were actually very intriguing never were developed, and I was unsatisfied. So I really do, now and then, I love a good unhinged, crazy, nutso kind of thriller, as long as it's not real gimmicky. And I'm going to do a video about some books that I recommend in that category, which is not really this one, but some other ones, but I can't do it yet because there's something I want to reread and make sure it fits the category. But so stay tuned in the near future for unhinged thrill rides. But this one, and also the time period, I read this with my book club, and the look of it and the way that the main character is described in the way she comports herself. I really thought for a long time that this was set in the 50s in New York, and I was picturing the entire Mrs. Maisel setting and the way that the main character perceives herself in her role as a wife and mother. And then all of a sudden, at some point in the book, it refers to using their VCR, and I was like, wait, now it's in the 80s? So it was an odd and off-kilter book, and I heard there's a movie coming out, so someone else might have had better luck with it than me, but I'm going to send it on its way. A few of these I might see. There's a used bookstore, and I might see if the woman there wants any of these, or else I'll just put them in the little free library. Or on the giveaway cart at the library, because I'm not really trying to turn over $1 on these. I just want to send them on for another reader to enjoy. All right, the next one was a very popular book from last year, The Personal Librarian by Marie Benedict and Victoria Christopher Murray. This one, I wanted it really bad. It was on my list for a while. And then I struck gold and I received it in a book exchange within my Tea Club Library Club. This is a Facebook group. This is a whole other story, but there's a Facebook group for the people who are fans of this brand of tea. And then within the group, there's a book club. So, and we did a book exchange. And so anyway, this was the book. I was very happy to receive it. I did enjoy reading it. I really like the historical story of the actual person. It was a woman named Belle DaCosta Green, who was a Black American woman who was passing in the early 20th century and working for J.P. Morgan in his private collection library. And so the actual story was interesting, but I felt like the author's writing style made it kind of melodramatic, and it was a little bit clunky here and there. So it didn't totally work for me as a fiction piece, but I did enjoy the historical aspect of it. And I just don't feel like I would read it again, so I want to send it on and let somebody else also enjoy it. Then we had Golden State by Ben Winters. I really love Ben Winters' Last Policeman trilogy, and I talked about that, I believe, in a different video. But this one was just okay. It's a speculative fiction book about, now the premise is very interesting. It's about a time perhaps in the near future when the society is now shaped based on truth, and there's people who go out and seek out if someone is telling a lie. After you're above a certain age in childhood, it is illegal if you tell any kind of lie or falsehood whatsoever, and even to the point that they don't have fiction. They don't have fiction books. All their TV shows are reality shows. And in the course of this book, somebody does find a novel in somebody's belongings who has passed on, and he becomes rather entranced with this work of fiction. But there's a lot of other things going on. So it starts out, it's very fascinating, but it failed for me ultimately because it fell into some really predictable things towards the end that kind of made it unsatisfying once again. Maybe I'm just hard to please. So I just feel like I'm not recommending it to my husband, who also likes this author, but so nobody else is going to read it in our house, so it can move on. Then we have the Jane Austen Society, which I picked up because I love Jane Austen, and I'm a sucker for. And I've read a couple of these contemporary, well, it is a historical fiction book, but, books written in contemporary times that sort of pull onto Jane Austen or involve a group of people that love Jane Austen. And I never liked them. So if there's a good one like that out there, I would enjoy reading it. But this is not it. This was just okay. It was kind of a middle-of-the-road historical fiction book. It was... okay. And then We have a thriller that actually was pretty good. It's called Never Turn Back by Christopher Swann. It's a good, vacation read, weekend read. If you like mysteries and thrillers, my husband and I both read it, and we're done with it. So, when you read a thriller that is not really like a literary book or a classic, you're probably not going to read it again because the thrills are gone. So in that case, I like to let somebody else enjoy it. But it actually was good. I just realized that we just don't need to keep it anymore. So goodbye. And then finally, a couple of books that are, The Help. At the time when it was new, I enjoyed it. I saw the movie, and then I rethought about it in light of criticism written more recently about how it's kind of a white savior story and it's not really the best representation of the conflicts of that time. And now I try to read things that are more authentic, so I don't really want to keep it anymore. It had its time and the time has passed. And this is one that I'm not going to read this. Maybe it's okay. The review sounded sound like it's all right. I just know I'm never going to read it. And it was in a bag of books from a library book sale. And the way that this library book sale was structured was that you got a bag, and if you paid $10, and then however much stuff you could put in the bag was the sale. So I walked through and I saw a few things I really did want that I felt like I'd paid $10 for. But then I had this whole bag, so I put in some random things that I thought, well, I might read them, I might not. And then since then, I've kind of weeded it back out a little bit and just kept the ones that I plan to read or that I have read. In that sale, I got a copy of Their Eyes Were Watching God for my daughter because I already have one. And really the coolest thing I found in that sale was this edition of A Room of One's Own by Virginia Woolf, and it's kind of this cool limited edition. It says it's number 378 in a limited edition of 1000 by the Heritage Press. And I did a little research, and that was a press that did put out subscription limited edition classics for a period of time, and it closed. The press in Dallas closed in 2003, which was where this one was produced, and this one is from 1993. But I just thought it was kind of a handsome volume, and I didn't have a copy of this book. It has notes, and it's printed on kind of nice paper. So I thought that one, plus the Hurston book, and then a couple of other odds and ends that looked fun to read were worth my $10. But not everything in that bag that I decide to keep. So I think, have I reached the end of the pile? I think so. So I think that is it for now. Those are some books that are going on their merry way to be either traded in at the used bookstore or put in the little free library or on the free giveaway cart at the public library. And hopefully I won't regret it later. Every now and then, I think I'll be good with this particular set of decisions. Every now and then I get a little carried away on the cleaning, but I think I'm good for now. I'm cautious. I'm being more cautious. All right. I believe that is the end of my video for today. If you liked what you saw, please like and subscribe. And I'm going to also have a haul really soon. I'm waiting for a few books to come in that I ordered, and once they all get here, I'm going to do a summer haul because it is like 900,000 degrees, and I'm just estivating in here and reading and doing online shopping. But that's it for now. Have a great day. Where's my mouse? See you soon. Bye.